This is Yvonne Smith, and you are listening to the 25th Hour radio show with Rob and Randy.
The 25th Hour Radio Show.
Yvonne, what stirred your interest and got you so interested into getting involved in the field that you're in?
Well, I do believe it was because I attended years and years ago, late 80s, a lecture that was given by my mentor, Bud Hopkins, when he lectured here in Pasadena, California, not too far from where I live. In fact, my mother had asked me to go with her because she was familiar with him. And I was just intrigued by the lecture and what he was presenting. I had no idea at that time that people were experiencing such events. So I, watched his, I watched his slide presentation, and I just became very interested in what he was saying. And then, of course, I'm interested in hypnotherapy, which I had been interested in before, for using the hypnotherapy for people that are suffering from cancer, for instance. So I began studying and received my certification, and then things just, my practice just began to grow.
Where does one go to get certified in hypnotherapy? I mean, it doesn't seem like there'd be a lot of schools for that.
There are not many. At the time when I was researching that, I wanted a complete program for certification. And what I found was here in Southern California, in the San Fernando Valley, called the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, which was a year program, a year of study and a year of clinical work. So I was very pleased with the program. Some of them around the country are, I believe, weekends. And it really, I had a very difficult time trying to find a complete the curriculum for learning the teaching of psychology and taking psychology classes and doing the practical application of hypnotherapy. So I do believe I have very good training, background training, using the tools of hypnosis, but however, using it towards abduction cases, for instance, regression cases, I really have to credit my mentor, Bud Hopkins, for taking me under his wing for that.
Mm. Well, talking about abduction cases, let's talk about the individuals that you spend time with. Do they seek you out, or do you seek them out?
Oh, I never seek them out. They will. My practice. I'm going on. This is 2013. I've been doing this 22 years now. I don't advertise, and it's just basically referrals, word of mouth. People come to me. Perhaps they have watched me lecture. They've attended a conference. Now, of course, with the internet, which we didn't have when I started my practice in the early 90s, they could get on YouTube. And some of my lectures are on YouTube. Some of my interviews are on YouTube. So they were able to get familiar. Then I have my website and so forth. So they've spoken, they've looked up, say, other researchers, UFO researchers in the field, and they'll ask them if they know of someone who works with abduction cases.
Now, Yvonne, as far as post-traumatic stress that a person receives from an abduction, what are the signs? Well, I guess first we need to define what post-traumatic stress is. Do you mind explaining this disorder to our listeners and then how it relates to alien abductions?
Post-traumatic stress disorders, it happens when someone experiences a very traumatic event. I mean, it could be it could be a terrible car accident, or something like a Mother Nature earthquake, terrible earthquake, floods. I mean, things that then we saw the floods happening back east this past winter. Just terrible devastation, a rape, childhood abuse, something that is just so horrific that the job of the subconscious is to protect us. So the subconscious will block out some of those traumatic memories and just give us bits and pieces of it until the person is ready to deal with it completely. So we're talking about any type of trauma. Well, it also refers to UFO abduction because the person that this happened to has no frame of reference, especially when these cases occurred many, many years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago. There was no frame of reference for this. They knew something strange happened. They had no idea what it was. And they could only refer to something like maybe a bright light in the sky or something very, a strange craft hovering, and then they don't remember anything after that, or something coming into their homes, and then some of them say, I think it was a ghost, because there was no frame of reference for anything else. Nobody said, I think it was an alien. So they've held this inside of them for years and years, and finally, when they're able to find a person like myself that does this work, then they will seek out the regressions and the hypnosis. It is not easy for these people to re-experience what happened to them. But with post-traumatic stress, when all these memories come forward, bringing them up to the surface level, that's when the healing begins with people.
Now, when you're doing these hypnotherapy sessions, am I saying that right? Hypnotherapy, or what would you call a session?
Yes, hypnotherapy, regression sessions.
When you're doing these sessions, like for instance with the alien abductees, do a lot of them have similar stories, or do any of the individuals bring new things to the table that you've not heard before?
Well, there is a very similar thread that runs through all these cases. Every once in a while there will be something a little bit different, but normally and usually it really is the same scenario over and over again. And that's what I found so fascinating, because working with people where this happened, other parts of the United States and other parts of the world, and yet they're talking about the same type of experience as other people that they've never met, they don't know. That's why I begin to realize, oh my God, something is happening here.
How many types of aliens do you think there are? Are there multiple races of aliens that I don't want to corner you into anything, but do you think there are multiple?
Oh yeah, there are different types of aliens. We talked about the Greys, those little guys with the big eyes that come in to someone's home, and those are the abductors. Those are the ones that take the person out of their normal environment and takes them to say the craft. Then once they get on the craft, what's very interesting, in my notes throughout the years, is that they meet other alien beings that are pretty much working together. They're some of them they look taller than the gray beings. The same thing, large eyes, gray skin, no hair, but they're taller. Some will have a tight-fitting uniform on, and some will have, say, a cape. Some look like they describe them as a praying mantis type. And it's very clear that when someone meets these alien beings, that there is a chain of command when they get on the craft. There clearly is a chain of command. Someone else is in charge of the operation, but they all seem to work together on the craft. Sometimes the person experiencing an abduction will only see the gray type of beings, but maybe they'll see the gray type of beings with the tall praying mantis type, very spindly, very tall. That one seems to be the one in charge.
Now, Stephen Hawking had talked about, and I know you've heard what Stephen Hawking has said, that aliens or ET coming here would be like Columbus coming to the New World. Now, you have a different point of view of that, don't you?
Well, he also said that if we encounter them, to something like to steer clear of them or almost be afraid of them, which, none of us know. I mean, none of us have the definitive answers, but, they've been coming here clearly because they have an agenda. They have a job to carry out, a job to do. And through the years, I'm beginning to come to the conclusion right now that what's central to this operation is a hybridization program. They're creating hybrids with half alien, half human with us for whatever reason. We clearly have something that they need, so they continue to come and abduct our people and create these beings. I mean, they're described by the abductees over and over again, seeing these strange-looking babies or different-looking children. So clearly, they know what they're doing and they know what they want.
Now, you mentioned the grays. What other types of aliens are out there that's maybe not so volatile or into abducting humans?
Well, there's also the human-looking ones that if you walked by them on the street, you wouldn't do a double take because they look very human. People have described light beings where they're just filled with light. They're not real humanoid type, but they know that it's an intelligent, sentient being. They're the reptilian type as well. They don't seem to be as prominent, at least in my cases, as the other types, but they are definitely there.
Do you think aliens use a form of hypnotherapy?
They may. They tell people that they're not going to remember their experience. They're not supposed to remember their experience. So they may use whatever they use, some type of post-hypnotic suggestion. They do quite a bit of the staring process where they'll look deeply into the person's eyes, and they could anesthetize with them, doing that to them while they're being examined. All of a sudden the fear and the pain is gone. So whatever they use, I mean, I don't have a term for it, but we can certainly say post-hypnotic suggestion.
Have you ever had any trouble I'm going to say deprogramming. That's probably not the right word, but deprogramming someone that's been, abducted by an alien and breaking through to be able to pull back memories or just visual memories?
Well, it depends. It depends on the person, how much they are ready to remember and bring forward and verbalize. Many, many times, I just had a case on Sunday. First time client. He was able to bring forth memories and verbalize from his experience, but then he knew that there were other things there that he wasn't quite able to tap into. So we call that a block. Many people have these blocks, whether it's the block that's placed by the alien being or the block that's placed by their own subconscious mind, protecting them. But I eventually am able to get through that block. Once we break through, then the person finds it easier and easier to verbalize the memories coming forward. Now, of course, it takes more than one session. It could take several sessions, and sometimes throughout many years, because the experience doesn't stop. It's an ongoing experience.
Have you ever been terrified by something an individual has told you while under hypnosis?
Terrified? No, I wouldn't say terrified because I hear it over and over and over again. But I have been very touched and feeling the pain from that person when they feel that they're being violated, or they're shown these babies or children and told that they are theirs, and then yet they can't keep them, they can't take them home with them, and so many of them have just cried in so much pain, because we as human beings bond together. We bond with our loved ones, we bond with our children. They don't seem to have that capability, or they're not meant to have that capability, so they're very interested in that type of emotion and strong bonding. So, my heart really has broken at times hearing the pain and the person is crying about remembering these things.
And this is going to sound like a kind of a far out question, but I've always wondered if there was ever a scenario like this. Have you ever been in a predicament where you were communicating with an alien through an individual that you were doing hypnotherapy on, communicating back and forth? Like, you might have a session with them,
right,
and try to pull out information, and then between the time that you've talked to this individual and they've actually gone home for however long a session's intermission is, and when they come back, they've been abducted again. So you've got a situation to where an alien could have subliminally put more information in this person's head.
Well, yeah. I mean, they will have ongoing experiences throughout their life. That just doesn't stop. But I've never had someone in hypnosis that I can remember. I'm sure I would remember this because it would be very unique. But I've never had someone in hypnosis where an alien being came through as if they were being channeled.
No, well, I didn't mean like a possession. Just maybe they were leaving, clues that they were, there again since the last session.
Oh, sure. The alien beings are quite aware of my work, and when the person begins to explore through hypnosis, they're very aware of that.
Are you ever worried that since they do know of your work, that you yourself might become abducted?
People ask me that, and no, I'm not really worried about it. I feel if that ever happened to me, then I'll deal with it as it comes, and I've established my support group C.e.r.o, so I have a support system. But no, I just feel these last 22 years, this is the work I'm supposed to be doing. I just opened up a branch of C.e.r.o, Close Encounter Research Organization, called C.e.r.o International.
Oh, wow.
Where now we're opening these meetings to the public and bringing in speakers from all over the country and all over the world. Our first meeting, we had Travis Walton and his two witnesses, Steve Pierce and John Boulette, come and speak for our group. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful inaugural meeting. So, the purpose for that is to continue educating the public about the reality of UFOs and also the mainstream media. So I appreciate doing shows like you're doing about such a controversial subject that it still is.
Absolutely, we appreciate that. Before we get off here, we're getting close on time. Tell us a little bit about your book, Chosen. What can someone who buys this book expect to get out of reading it?
They will see. I picked out about 9 cases that I closely worked with, and it has in there the actual transcripts of what the person experienced in hypnosis, as well as their background and just really what they've been through from the time they began to be abducted to what's happening now in their life and how it affected their life. I'm also working on a second book called The Coronado Incident, where right now that's the working title, but this is about a mass abduction of about a dozen people that occurred in San Diego County, California, during a UFO conference. And at the same time, President Clinton was there. So we had Secret Service everywhere while we were having this UFO conference and the abduction. So it's quite complicated.
I wanted to ask you this one more question before we start wrapping things up. You can get on YouTube and you see all these. If you type in alien or alien abduction or any UFO, you'll see thousands, if not millions, of different videos. How do you think most of those are hoaxes, and do you think stuff like that really hurts your cause?
Yeah, you should really be careful. I tell people when they get on the internet, oh my gosh, there's so much out there. They could be hoaxes, especially you see pictures of craft and how we have Photoshop now, and I think it really does, since that's been out there, it really does hurt, I think, the process of abduction work and research, because people could fake pictures, they could fake abductions, and the people that are brand new to this and they really want answers about their own experience, they're so confused about all that. I tell them to be cautious and really try not to be online, because you got to separate the wheat from the chaff. I mean, there's too much out there now.
Yeah, there is.
It really is, and I get disturbed when I see things on there. But the internet is here. I don't think we're ever going to get rid of it. But the people who are very, very sincere in looking into their experience, they will make their appointments. They will come in. They will do the work with me. They'll do their writing about, their experiences and hypnosis, and they'll do their drawings. I mean, it is therapy. So the ones that are truly serious and truly are experiencers will come forward and they'll start doing the work.
Well, Yvonne, where can people go as far as websites, social media, etc., to get more information about your work and maybe buy your book and other merchandise?
Well, I have my website where you can buy my book, weissmith.com, or you can buy my book on Amazon. And then, of course, I'll have announcements about my upcoming book. You can always also go to C.e.r.ointernational.com to find out about our events. We're going to have another one on March 9th with Dr. Barry Taft, who's going to talk about UFOs and the paranormal. And I'm on Facebook, so they could send me a message on Facebook, and I will get back to them. Anyone who's seeking help with their abductions or have any questions, I'm available.
Well, Yvonne, thank you very much for joining us today on our program. We had a wonderful time talking to you. We hope you enjoyed talking to us as well.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much
Okay.
for having me, and I love to come back.
Yeah, we wish you good luck with all your future endeavors. And I've got to say this to you: live long and prosper.
Oh, you too.
The 25th Hour Radio Show.